is Tony. I am back with a very special episode of Women In. If you can't tell, it's a little different acoustics because we are live today. So everyone in the room, round of applause so the audience. So let me tell you what Women In is all about. Women In is a podcast that celebrates women in all walks of life and the people in their lives who are lifting them up. You're going to hear from all kinds of super cool people in my life, including my guest today, and they're going to share their stories to inspire others to support all the extraordinary women around them. This is a space to be disruptive, forward-thinking, and change agents for humankind. It is uncensored, fun, and curiosity-driven. This is what I'm passionate about. Breaking down the barriers for my kids' generation. It's equal parts about my guests and the places we came into each other's lives, whether it be the Kalamazoo Wings, Mindfulness Elevated, Tony Will Coaching, or you happen to be in my family and friends circle. My guest today is Jessica Davila. She is a partner and sales executive at MAVRX Sports Housing, where she's widely recognized as one of the driving forces behind the company's national growth and community-focused culture. Known for her tenacity and heart, Jessica has built a reputation as a powerhouse in the sports housing industry, connecting professional and minor league athletes with tailored housing solutions that support privacy, performance, and recovery. Since joining MAVRX in 2017, Jessica has been instrumental in scaling the company's reach and impact. Her background spans banking, sales, insurance, and property management, where she earned top honors as the #1 salesperson in her district at U.S. Bank. Her success in male-dominated industries reflects her drive, resilience, and unwavering commitment to client service. Beyond business acumen, Jessica is a key force behind the creation of the Pitch Initiative, MAVRX's nonprofit focused on youth access to sports, women's entrepreneurship, and housing insecurity. Her leadership and personal values have helped shape the organization's People First mission, setting a new standard for purpose-driven work in the sports business space. As a wife of former Hall of Fame Arena Football League quarterback Nick Davila and former athlete herself, Jessica brings lived experience and authenticity to everything she does. She's also, get this, everyone, a proud mother of 6. 5 sons and 1 daughter, with 3 competitive athletes and just 3 beginning their sports journeys. This gives her a professional lens into the unique needs of sports families and a deep empathy for the clients she serves. Jessica is an active member of the Women in Sports and Events, which is WISE Arizona, Latinos in Sports, and a mentor through the ECHL's Women in Hockey program. Her ability to lead with both grit and grace makes her an indispensable part of MAVRX's leadership team and a respected voice in the athletes' housing space. Hi.
Hi, thank you.
How is it feel to have that read live?
It feels good. I mean, it's nice to hear it out loud, I guess. I think the biggest one I'm most proud of is my kids and my family, because they are giving me my experience to sit here with you. But I mean, a little uncomfortable, you know. Tony kind of threw me out
that
here.
Mic up.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. But a little uncomfortable, but hey, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I applaud that because we had lunch. I was in Phoenix for a different conference I was speaking at, and we got together for lunch, and you were like, Tony, I'm so nervous to do this. And we just had a whole conversation. At the end of lunch, I said, what we just did is what we're going to do. Yeah. And here we are.
And here we are, yeah. I'm excited.
So tell everyone, I asked the same podcast question, and then I go off on tangents about different, but I'll try and keep it on track. But how do we meet?
So we actually met here last year, but in Vegas, so at the Women in Sports networking event last year. And I met you, and right away, your presence and the way you were in the room and how you are just empowering women through sports and things and whatnot, I was like, I have to meet her. And so I came and met you here last year.
Yeah, and you connected with me right away because you walked up to me, and I recall you being like, we want to be part of this.
Yes.
MAVRX Sports Housing wants to be part of this. And I was like really impressed by that and really energized. So what is it? Tell the story for those that aren't aware of the beginning of MAVRX. I interviewed Nicolette, the owner, in Boston at the National Sports Forum, because you all sponsored that event as well, and we did this at that event. So if any of you haven't attended the National Sports Forum, it's a great opportunity to learn in sports, but it's all sports, all levels, and it's a conference that's hosted once a year. So tell the story of MAVRX, because it's really cool, especially for women.
Sure. So my two partners and I, all of how we kind of met and came into each other's lives, our spouses played professional sports, and we kind of lived, the sports life and the athlete's lifestyle of relocating, every 6 months. If you're lucky to be on the same team for a few years, that's always a plus, A lot of it fell on, of course, us wives' plates, having to, when our husbands get, reassigned to a team, it's, hey, well, we got to look for housing, where are we going, and so we saw the need in the sports industry, and we kind of came up with this, as housing solutions, a solution for sports athletes and for organizations like ECHL and WNBA, the G League, and things like that. So we saw the need and just kind of ran with it.
Yeah, I think sometimes, especially those of us on the business side, the perspective of the athlete, and then not just the athlete, because we're in men's professional hockey here, but the women behind the men. And so you have that vantage point. So what is that like in terms of being the wife of and having to pick up everything and move from city to city? Can you, what does that feel like? Because for those of us on the business side, we're driving to our offices every day, and I'm speaking for myself, but I think a lot of people in this room can relate. There's a lot of certainty and stability because we're on the business side. So what is it like to be on the other side of that?
It's exciting. It's never the same thing every day. I feel like it's been for sure exciting, I'd have to say, but it also is a beautiful chaos. It's kind of like how I like to describe my life now too, as far as adding more children in the bunch. It's chaotic, it's fun, it's exciting, but it is, I feel like a lot of it does get, my husband was able to do a lot of what he accomplished on the field because I was there to be able to help him in whatever he needed and take care of the house and the kids and things like that. And then once he retired, it was kind of my turn to kind of do, hey, I noticed I wasn't, fully satisfied there, and I was ready to do something for myself. And so then I kind of started working, but it's a journey for sure.
Yeah, it's not always easy, and it's not always sexy, right?
No.
And that's the thing. I think some people think it's like this super sexy lifestyle, and it's not.
No, it's a lot of, it's craziness and family members, and it's fun, but it is craziness of hey, we'll be in your area for that time, and we're hoping to be with one team. And then, if he gets traded or cut or gets injured, then, he's not playing, and there's that mental aspect of that side as well. And it's a lot, sometimes.
Yeah, you and I were talking at our lunch together, and you were telling me about how your husband got injured and broke his neck. Will you talk about that story and what that's like? Because again, this is the other side of this. These athletes are, they're professionals, and they're really putting their bodies and lives, especially in hockey. I know he played football, but on the line. And football is a very dangerous sport too. So would you share that story with us?
Sure. So my husband was a quarterback. He was playing in a game and was going to throw a pass, and two of the defensive guys hit him up against the wall. And in arena football, you play the ball. The wall is considered live play, so it's pretty physical, like hockey. It's a lot fast paced in that aspect. But instantly, when he was hit against the wall, he just kind of fell to the floor, and we saw him try to get back up, and then he couldn't. So instantly, they came, brought the stretcher out, and told him not to move and whatnot. But long story short, he ended up breaking his neck, and where he broke it here, people usually die instantly in car accidents. And then in the back where he broke it, he has a rod and 14 screws there as well. And he's lucky to be alive, because usually where they break it there too, the doctor told us, people are usually quadriplegic. So we are super blessed and lucky to have him with us still. It was crazy event, but for sure he's overcome that. And he had to retire, of course, not playing anymore. So that was another difficult obstacle that was thrown our way.
Yeah, and again, you're the support system. And at the time he broke his neck, how many kids did you have?
We only had 3 then.
Only
so it wasn't
3.
too crazy. Yeah.
Only 3.
Yeah.
I have 3, and that is plenty.
Yes.
Okay, and mine are all adults now. But so, what was that like for you? You had to hold the family up.
It was. I feel like I was just kind of an autopilot, like most of us women do when we are dealt so many things and different balls are being thrown in our court in our way. I was just an autopilot. Like my kids, it did happen I feel like, was it tragic? Yes, but it happened in the best way possible as far as my mother-in-law was there with me at the game, my kids were there, his brother was there. So I did have, a support system, like that saying, it takes a village, it really does. My mother-in-law was able to take my kids, and I was by my husband's side every day, didn't leave him, and because I knew she was there to watch my kids. But I don't think it hit me until probably a couple years later. I remember going into our closet and we were reorganizing and getting everything taken care of. And I pull his jersey out and I saw that it was cut because they had to like cut it down in order to get him on the stretcher and get him taken care of. And I remember just like holding it and instantly tears just running down my face. And it was like, I didn't cry once throughout the whole thing because I knew he was scared and my kids were scared and I had to be strong and, we're going to be okay. And I have to always be the positive one to make things keep going, for our family. So. Yeah.
And I'd love for you to share the story. You and your husband have been together since what ages?
I was 14 and he was 15. So we were high school sweethearts. Yes.
Yeah. How impressive is that? And when she told me this, I was like, wow, man, I've been married 3 times. I'm like, what is the secret? What is the secret? The 3rd time's a charm, ladies, I'm telling you. But what is the secret?
I feel like he is my best friend. He's my teammate. I think we've had a lot of obstacles thrown our way, and no matter what, we've always worked together. When it was his turn to focus on his career, I was very supportive, and I was in the trenches with him. And then when it's my turn now, I'm here. My daughter is playing a club soccer tournament in Boise, so she's with my mother-in-law. My husband's taking my older son to U of A because he's doing a high school football camp out there, and he's holding it down. He's got the 6 kids, and my mother-in-law will help him. My mom comes too, but I think just finding a best friend and a good teammate, it's sports analogies all around, but you find a good teammate, ladies.
Find a good teammate, the best friend. No, I would concur with that statement. Okay, so let's talk about, one of the questions I get asked a lot is how we balance being moms and working in this industry. So, let's talk about your coming of 2 6 kids, because the last 2 are twins.
Last 3.
3.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're triplets.
She has triplets, y'all.
Yes. Talk about, it was exciting oopsie for us. So
so tell that story. Tell this story. It's fun. I thought it was 2 and it's actually 3. They're not one of them.
Yeah, so we had 3 kids. This was actually after he broke his neck. So he was rehabbing, and we had a oopsie pregnancy, and we're big believers in things happen for a reason and God does things for a reason. So we're like, okay, 4 kids is not so bad. We'll be great. We're set. 4 is good and we'll be done. We'll call it a day. And we went, I went to a normal checkup, and my husband was actually getting a checkup on an x-ray. So he was in the same complex, but just across the street. And I went in and checked in, and she said, we want to do an ultrasound because your levels are a little elevated. And I'm like, well, but my husband's not here and he's always here for those things. And she's like, well, it's not a big deal. I just want to make sure everything's okay. So I went in, and right away she saw the twins, because I have 2 identical twins and then a singleton. And so she's like, you're going to have twins. And I'm like, no, that can't be right. I already have 3 kids. That can't be right. And I go, well, you need to let me call my husband. So I call him right away, and I tell him, you need to get over here. This lady says we're having twins. And he instantly left the appointment, came, and while he was traveling to get there, she's like, you know what? Wait a minute. There's one more. He's hiding behind the other one. And I was like, stop looking. Don't look, is there any more? And so she's like, so you're going to have triplets. And it was crazy and chaotic, but it also, I feel like, was the best thing to happen for our family, because my husband was transitioning into retirement and being forced to quit from his injury. I know that was not easy for him. It wasn't easy for our family, to see him in that much pain, and just, we're in the retirement phase of athletes and how they get out of and what's the next step and whatnot. So I do feel like maybe one kid wouldn't have gotten him out of that funk, but the three, he was like, let's go. Like, we're going to take it on and we're going to do great. And we got our own sports team. We're going to figure it out. And we did.
You doubled your team.
Yeah.
In the matter of one doctor's appointment. So, I mean, finding out you're having twins is mind-blowing. And then when she kept going and said, oh, there's another one, how did you mentally prepare over the next, what'd you have, about 6 months?
Yeah, 6
So how did you prepare both mentally and then at home? Because for any of you that are planning to have family, already had a family, like, it's big enough just having one and like getting your mind wrapped around that. But you, you doubled.
Yeah, it doubled. And I feel like it was a bit of a shock at first, to be honest. It was like, just like, we're going to have 3? Like, what? But then instantly, I think that like mom mode kicks in of like, hey, like, we can do it. And then telling each family member, everybody was super excited, and I didn't get it. And I'm like, why is everybody so excited? And they're like, we're going to be okay. I'm like, you keep saying we, but I'm the one having the triplets. Like, what are you talking about? And, but they were right. I mean, they said we because they were part of my team and they were a village. So it took a lot of, hey, who's going to be here, prior weeks to when I think I'm going to give birth in case I go into early labor. It took a lot of planning work-wise. Luckily, I have 2 amazing business partners on the MAVRX side who I told them, and they were like, I said, I need you ladies to sit down. I know I, was excited, and we're doing a lot of things and full steam ahead, but kind of got a wrench to throw in there. And they were like, hey, like, if anybody can do this, it's you. Like, you're going to be okay, and we'll help you, and we'll all. So it took a village, and till this day it still does take a village, but it was a lot of communication and a lot of allowing help in. And for me, I think that was a big adjustment phase for me, because I've always been like, I'll take care of it myself and I'll handle it myself, and me and my husband are okay and we got it. But there's no, do we got it? Yeah, but then we need help, we need to wave the flag sometimes.
Well, it's such an important lesson in anything, whether you're having triplets or you're whatever, asking for help. And I think as women sometimes, I know I fall and prey to that, oh, I can do it. And just how freeing it can be to say, no, I do need help. And people want to help. They really want to help. Something else that's interesting, you carried those triplets to term.
I did to term, and I worked through it. I didn't leave my desk much, but it was like pre-move-in season for one of our leagues that we do housing for, so the Arena League, and I just kept telling myself, like, I just gotta make it till we get everybody moved in, and then I can have these babies, and I did. I worked through the whole thing, and I carried them full term. I was healthy. I mean, the doctor kept telling me, like, I think you were made to have triplets. I know you don't want to hear that, but I was like, okay, thanks.
I mean, you don't hear that. And I know we talked about this when we got together. How much did they each weigh when they were born?
They were almost 5 pounds. So they were healthy, and we were blessed for that. But my husband also was bringing my shakes to my smoothies every morning, and he'd bring my lunch, and he'd bring all my food. And even if I wasn't hungry, he's like, I need you to eat that. These babies need to get healthy and big. And he was my biggest rock, and was there to help me through the whole process of overwhelming and stress and all of it. So
let's just let that settle in. 15 pounds of humans. 15 pounds. That is, I mean, phenomenal. So kudos to you, Jessica.
You.
I mean, seriously, bravo. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how do you were sharing with your husband's injury, and then you had the triplets, and now you went from 3 to 6 kids, and it was time you wanted to go to work. And so what does that transition look like? Does mom guilt play a role in your day-to-day? Talk about that.
Sure. For sure, mom guilt does all the time. It was really hard for me this week preparing to come here. Like as I was reaching out to teams and people to connect with, in the back of my mind, I was still, I'm not there for my daughter's first travel soccer tournament. And usually, you got to give yourself grace because I usually take her to practice all the time. And usually when I schedule things for work, there is no balance, so it's kind of blending everything and kind of saying like, okay, I'm not going to miss this football thing for my oldest. And, I could miss, the 5-year-old's, baseball, t-ball game because they're a little younger. So I'll travel then but mom guilt is for sure a real thing. And I think us as women, we have to kind of give ourselves grace and, just take it day by day and reach out to other moms and women to help. I mean, my partner too, Nicolette, was like, if you're going to be gone, let me bring dinner one night. And, I'm like, are you sure? You don't have to. And she goes, no, like, let me while your husband's there, with all the kids and to help him out so he's not going crazy with all the 6 kids by himself.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, what's their age range, the kids now?
So my oldest is a freshman going into a sophomore year in high school, so he's 15. Then my only girl is 12, and she is going to be in 8th grade. And then I have my 9-year-old Nikki, and he is going into 4th grade. And then my triplets are all boys, and they are 5. So they are going into 1st grade.
You almost got one driving. That's a game changer.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
He keeps like, Mom, like, I'll be able to help you in less than a year. I'm like, yes.
It is a game changer. I couldn't get my kids driving fast enough. I was like, yeah, it's time.
And he's ready. He's always been an old soul. So even for him, like there's been like football for him is really important. So, and he's in I feel like a critical stage in his life where I want to be sure to be there for those important things. So I just make sure to blend the two, work and home life. And I make sure if I leave, I'm there in time to, sometimes I flew in and take my suitcase straight to the football field and I'm there to watch them. And that mom guilt does kick in. And I've had conversations with him because he is such an old soul. I'm like, hey, am I making the right choice sitting here? And I know I'm gone sometimes for like 2 to 3 days and, sometimes a little bit longer, but like, what do you think? And he's like, Mom, I love what you do. And I love watching you do what you do. And we get to go, and he got to come with me to the ECHL conference last year. So he was able to see what I do. And I got to take him to dinner with me a few times. And he was like, this is awesome. Like he got to see the other side of the sports too, not just, he sees the locker room stuff all day because his dad coaches too. So he sees that aspect of it, but it's cool for him to see when I go walk units for teams and things like that, the operational side of things and just the business side of how, what we do on the business side.
Yeah, and that's what I would tell myself too, is like we're role modeling the behavior I wanted my daughters and my son to see, and that was important to me. And they actually, 2 of the 3 ended up interning for the team too. So, and now they're all out of the sports, but they got to be part of it. And I think that is important because sometimes we can lose our identities in motherhood or the other identities that we have if we choose not to be mothers. And so work and still having that balance, because it's important to be able to, and this is just my opinion, to be able to support ourselves in case something happens. So.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because my mom, who's been one of my biggest inspirations for going back into the workforce after being a stay-at-home mom for so many years, she led by example. I mean, that woman is one hard worker, and she was another woman in a male-dominated industry working a lot with construction and whatnot. And I just shared a funny story with her this week before we came out here. I was cleaning some papers out, looking for my daughter's birth certificate so she could travel, because I put it in such a safe spot that, I forgot where I put that safe spot. So I was looking for it, and I found one of her drawings that she drew for Mother's Day, and it was the same piece of paper that when I saw it, it made me realize, I'm ready to go back to work. I need to go back to work. Because in there it was like, what's your one thing your mom is great at? And she was like, making dinner, and she takes me to the park. And then the picture she drew, ladies, me at Target with the shopping cart, ladies. And so she's like, I remember looking at it like, what? Like, you think that's all I'm good at is shopping? I mean, I am good at it, but I knew at that moment, like, okay, I gotta go back to work. And I want to show her that you can do more than just be a homemaker, and you can do both.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about the women. And you've mentioned your mother-in-law, your mom, and your daughter, but who are the women that have shaped you into the woman that sits before me right now?
I'd have to say my two partners are also two of my best friends as well. So they've been in the trenches with me through their husbands and through our careers of playing. Our husbands did play together for about 7 to 8 years, so we became super close. Nicolette she is amazing, and always will. Like today, before I got here, I was super nervous and was like, I'm going to be speaking in front of people. Like, well, how is it going to go? And she's like, you got this. You're going to be great. It's another conversation, and she's the biggest hype girl. Surround yourself with some good hype girls too, ladies. You need those every now and then.
Well, yeah, and that's part of it, like building these relationships up, and because it does, to be outside, especially when we're all each working in individual teams, it can be really easy to stay in that sphere, but to expand out from that can be really important. So yeah. I applaud that. So a little rapid fire questions. Sure. I'm going to do it off the list. So okay. What are you reading or listening to right now?
Actually, Miss Anne Frank's book from your Empower Her conference, what is it, Inner Bully or Stop the Inner Bully?
Yeah, Stop the Inner Bullying by Dr. Anna Marie Franks.
Mm-hmm. And that one, I feel like just having so many different hats you wear as a woman, like sometimes we do get in our own head of like, can I do this? Am I crazy? Should I go back to staying at home? Should I, get a nanny and help out around the house? Or we just question ourselves a lot. And I feel like that book was something, I don't have time to read as much. So I did take some advice of an Audible book, and I do that. And I was listening to it on the airplane on the way up here. So, but that is one that I feel like, whenever you are getting down or some days get tough, juggling all the things, I'd put that in and take a listen and remind yourself to get that inner bully out. And
yeah.
I like it.
We can be really hard on ourselves, can't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we never treat other people like that.
No,
just ourselves.
Yeah, which is crazy, because if people around my office that are close with me, I'm the biggest hype girl. Like, you're gonna do something, I'm like, oh my gosh, you look great. You did so great out there. You killed it. And then when it comes to myself, I'm like, oh, do I need to go up there? Can I go up there? And do I look okay? Do I sound okay? And it's like, how can I sit here and give so much of my positive energy to everybody else and not give myself that same love back?
Well, I'm going to hype you up. You're talking great. You're looking great. You're doing great. Hype girl here.
Thank you.
So women in ... I explained before we hit record where it came from for me when I, as a woman in sports, and I wanted to expand beyond sports. We happen to be at a sports conference this week, but how would you fill in the dots for you?
For me, mine is cliche, but it is sports, women in sports, because my life is eat, breathe sports with my husband, with me being playing sports growing up, and now all of my 6 kids. Like, I am fully engulfed in sports all day, every day. So whether it's soccer, wrestling, football, hockey, everything. I'm fully engulfed. So I would have to say sports. And for us, sports it's a big thing in our household, and it teaches our kids so much about life and working with others and so many great skills. So I feel like women in sports is the way to go.
It's perfect. Very fitting. Mm-hmm. So this is sometimes a tricky one, but what have you changed your mind about lately?
Sitting up here and talking in front of you ladies. So you have helped me, and I feel like you are another one of, a woman that is helping break those barriers and also helping me come out of my comfort zone just in the short time I've met you, attending your conference. I also feel like doing more things for myself. I'm always there to help others. My love language is for sure acts of service. So I'm always pouring into other people and my kids and my husband and my clients and my staff at work and my team at work. And it's like, I gotta fill my cup a little bit. So attending your conference was huge. And then you having me be a mentor, like that was another thing pushing me out of my comfort zone. So you are for sure somebody who has helped guide me and shape me along the way too. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome that you came out to Kalamazoo.
No, but it was awesome. And your guys' fans in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
after you score the goal and they're all chanting
Yeah.
and it was awesome. So the
Right.
energy in Kalamazoo, I see where you get your energy from.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, Jessica, if people want to connect with you and it resonated with your story, maybe they're having triplets or they want to get sports housing help, all the things. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find us at sportshousing.com. So if you guys need us on the business front, we can help, take some of that load off your plate as well. I'm here obviously in person. I'll be here tomorrow as well. So I can connect, give you a business card and things like that.
Wonderful. Well, a round of applause for Jessica.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you all are looking to connect with me, I am not hard to find. You can find me on LinkedIn, at Facebook at Tony Lentini Will, Instagram I'm Tony Will, and then the hockey side of my life at kwings.com, and then everything else related to speaking, my future book, whatever else, TonyWill.com. And until next time, thank you.
Thank you.